There's one thing that no person in this world can avoid. It's pain. Everyone feels pain. Whether you're rich, poor, strong, weak, kind, or cruel, pain is something we all meet in life. But there's something many people don't realize. Pain comes to all of us. But suffering is what we do with that pain. You can feel pain and still move forward. Or you can hold on to it, live inside it, and let it take over everything. That's what suffering is. Sometimes we look at others and think, they have it so easy. But you don't know what's happening in their heart. You don't know what they cry about when no one is watching. You wouldn't want to trade lives with them if you really saw everything they carry. A friend of mine once said something that stayed with me. He said, "Imagine life is like a deck of cards. Each card is a different person's life. One card might be someone rich and famous. Another card might be someone blind. Another might be a child in pain. Would you really throw away your card and pick another at random? Think about that. Would you really trade your life away just to try a different one without knowing what's inside? How many of you have been through something painful more than once? Maybe something happened in your business or your family. At first, it felt terrible. But after a few times, you started to understand, I've been here before. I can handle this. It may still be hard. It might even make you cry. But deep inside, you know you'll get through it. That is the power of experience. That's the gift of living long enough to see your own strength. You begin to realize something important. You are more powerful than anything that can ever happen to you. Yes, you might feel broken. Yes, your heart might hurt. Yes, you might cry so much you can't breathe. But that doesn't mean you are broken. Your soul, your spirit, the deep part of you, can never break. Your body can be hurt. Your heart can feel like it's shattered. But your spirit? It is still there. It is still strong. It is still whole. That pain you're feeling is not the end of you. It's just a chapter in your story. Now listen. I know there are events in life you never want to go through again. You wouldn't wish them on your worst enemy. You wouldn't want your child, your friend, your partner, anyone to feel them. But those painful events, those are the ones that change us the most. Those are the ones that shape who we are. Think back. Maybe 10 years ago, maybe 20, something happened that felt like the end of the world. But now, years later, you look back and say, that made me who I am. That made me stronger. That made me love deeper. That taught me something I couldn't have learned any other way. Pain stays with us only if we keep giving it a negative meaning. When we start seeing pain as something that grew us, something that made us better, not something that broke us, everything changes. If you have even one person in your life that you trust, one person you love, who loves and respects you too, you are rich. That's gold. I'm lucky. I care about many people. I have my family. I have my chosen family. I have friends around the world. But here's the truth. The more people you care about, the more stress you will feel. Why? Because when someone you love is in pain, you hurt too. At one time, I used to react too much. When someone told me they were suffering, I didn't know what to do. I would either feel frozen or get so connected to their pain that I couldn't help them at all. I had to learn to step out of the pain and step into service. Instead of drowning in their pain, I had to learn to be strong for them. God didn't put me through all my pain just to hurt me. He put me through it so I could grow the muscles. So I could help others. So I could serve not just from my words, but from real experience. Now I've helped tens of millions of people. Not because I'm smarter, but because I've been there. Again and again. And when you've been there, you understand. There was a time when Sage and I went through a health crisis. I had mercury poisoning. It burned a hole in my throat. I bled out. I lost 1/3 of all the blood in my body. I could have died. 1 week later, I had to be on stage. Date with destiny. One of the biggest events of my year. But I collapsed. I had to go to the hospital. They told me, "We have to drain your kidneys. You can't move." And I said, "No. You don't understand. I have to be at this event. These people matter." They looked at me like I was crazy. But I got up. I was in a wheelchair. I stood up. And I went to serve. And something beautiful happened. People started coming to me to help me. I've spent my whole life serving others. And now I was being served. That's the truth of life. We're here to serve each other. Even small pain can feel big when you lose something you love. We lost our little dog after 16 years. She was family. And even though I said nothing will break me, it still hurt. But here's what I remembered. I am not just my pain. I am not just my body. I am not even just my heart. I am spirit. I am soul. And that part of me cannot break. You will keep holding on to your pain until you find something you love more than your pain. For me, that was our new puppy. It didn't replace the one we lost. But it gave us love again. It gave us something new to care about. When you've been through enough painful events, you build a kind of immunity. You don't stay down for long anymore. You bounce back quicker. You grow. Pain becomes part of your story, not the end of it. I met a woman once. Her child was killed by a drunk driver. It was unfair. It was heartbreaking. She had other kids, but her pain was so deep that she couldn't love them fully. They felt invisible. Then one day, during a seminar, she woke up. She said, "I still have kids. I need to love them. I need to honor the one I lost." She went on to help start MADD Mothers Against Drunk Driving. She turned her pain into purpose. And she saved millions of lives. That's what happens when we find something bigger than our pain. Pain is not forever. You might think it is. You might believe it will never go away. But when you find something meaningful, something to live for, you can let go of the pain. It doesn't control you anymore. Sometimes, that something is your faith. Sometimes it's your children. Sometimes it's a mission, a cause, a dream. Sometimes it's just the belief that your story can help someone else survive. We all have to find our global solution. That's what I call it. It means, what will pull me through no matter how bad life gets? You must find yours. It could be God. It could be a belief that everything happens for a reason. It could be your belief in your soul, in your strength, in love. Whatever it is, find it. For me, my global solution was this. If I can figure out how to get through this, I can help millions of people not suffer the way I did. That belief gave my pain meaning. It turned my suffering into strength. It made it all worth it. But be careful. Don't get addicted to your pain. It can happen. Pain can become part of your identity. But we are not meant to live in trauma forever. We are meant to transform. When I was told I had a brain tumor, I was 32 years old. They told me I might die. I might lose my energy. I might never be the same. I was scared. But in that fear, I found a gift. I found what I now teach around the world, the 6 human needs. It all came from that moment. It came from pain. Pain can be a gift if we use it. Everything in life is a gift. Even the pain. Even the things you never asked for. But it's our job to find the gift inside it. If you don't, you'll stay stuck. But if you do, if you let yourself feel it, if you let it shape you, if you let it move you forward, then pain becomes your teacher. And you become unstoppable. You're going to feel pain. That's part of being human. But suffering, that's a choice. And you get to choose. every single day. You know what's strange? Sometimes we feel safest when we're in pain. Because it's familiar. We know it. We expect it. But healing? Healing can feel scary. It's unknown. It means we have to let go of something we've been holding on to. And the truth is, letting go can feel like losing part of ourselves. But we're not losing ourselves. We're just letting go of the part that no longer serves us. The part that was hurt. The part that was scared. The part that stopped growing because it was too afraid of falling again. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever met someone who has been through so much, but they walk with peace? You can feel their strength. You can feel their calm. They're not loud about it, but you know they've faced storms and survived. That's a person who made it through pain without getting bitter. That's a person who turned pain into wisdom. They didn't let life harden them. They let life shape them. There's a big difference. See, when we face pain, we have two choices. We can become a victim. Or we can become a student. The victim says, "Why me? This isn't fair. Life hates me. People are cruel. I'll never be okay again." But the student says, "This hurts so much. But what can I learn from this? How can I grow through this? What can I do with this pain that will help others, or help me become stronger?" One question brings you deeper into suffering. The other brings you closer to healing. When I meet people who are in deep pain, I don't tell them to ignore it. I don't say, "Just be strong." I say, "Feel it. But don't stay in it. Let the pain speak. Let it cry. Let it shout. Let it release. But don't unpack your whole life and live there. Pain is a visitor, not a roommate. You know what's powerful? When you've been through darkness, and you choose light. When you've been hurt, and you choose love. When you've been betrayed, and you still believe in people. That's strength. That's real courage. That's what makes you a light to others. People will look at you and say, "How are you still standing?" And you'll say, "Because I chose not to stay down." There's a story I'll never forget. I met a man who lost his daughter in a tragic accident. He was broken. He didn't want to live. He didn't eat. He didn't speak. He just sat in silence. For 2 years. And then one day, he picked up a notebook. And he started to write letters to his daughter. One letter every day. In those letters, he cried, he screamed, he remembered, he healed. After a while, he began sharing those letters with other parents who had lost children. And you know what happened? Those parents started healing too. Because someone understood their pain. That man went on to write a book that helped thousands of people. His pain didn't disappear. But it became purpose. You might think your story doesn't matter. But I'm here to tell you, it does. What you've been through matters. What you survived matters. What you're learning right now, it matters. Because someone else is walking through a fire right now that you've already been through. And they need to hear your voice. Even if your voice shakes. Even if you're still healing. You don't have to be perfect to be a light. You just have to be real. Sometimes people ask, "Tony, why do I keep going through the same pain over and over again?" And I say, because life is trying to teach you something. And it won't stop knocking until you open the door. Pain has a message. It's saying, "You're stronger than this. You're meant for more. You need to let go. You need to rise. You need to love yourself deeper than you ever have before." But sometimes we ignore the message. We numb it. We avoid it. We blame others. And then the pain comes back louder. Until one day, we listen. And when we listen, we grow. Let me tell you something powerful. Your pain is not your identity. You are not your mistakes. You are not what happened to you. You are not the lies people told you. You are not your trauma. You are something deeper. Something purer. Something unbreakable. You are soul. You are light. You are love. Sometimes people think that healing means getting over it. No. Healing doesn't mean you forget. It means you remember without falling apart. It means you look at what hurt you, and instead of crying, you say, I'm still here. I made it. I grew from it. Healing means you stop hating the wound, and you start loving the warrior that came out of it. And here's something else. Sometimes we heal slowly. Sometimes we take one step forward and 2 steps back. And that's okay. Healing isn't a straight line. It's a dance. It's messy. It's painful. But it's real. Some days you'll feel like you're flying. Other days you'll feel like you're drowning. Both days count. Both days matter. So let me remind you again. Pain is part of life. But suffering is a choice. You don't have to carry your pain forever. You don't have to let it define you. You are allowed to let go. You are allowed to be free. You are allowed to be happy again. Even after the worst storms. You know what's beautiful? When someone who has every reason to be angry chooses to forgive. When someone who has every reason to hide chooses to step into the light. When someone who has every reason to give up chooses to try again. That is power. That is grace. That is strength. And that lives in you too. If no one else tells you this today, let me say it. You are not alone. You are not broken. You are not too far gone. You are loved. You are seen. You are strong. And you are exactly where you're supposed to be, growing. I know you've been through things that you didn't ask for. Things that weren't your fault. Things that hurt so deep you didn't think you'd ever smile again. But look at you now. You're still here. You're still breathing. You're still standing. That means something. That means everything. Don't downplay your survival. Don't say it's nothing just because others didn't see the war you fought in silence. You're a fighter. You've already won battles that nobody clapped for. But today, I see you. I see your strength. I see your heart. I see your healing. Sometimes people say to me, but Tony, what if the pain keeps coming? What if life keeps hurting me? And I tell them, then you keep rising. You don't run from the storm. You become the storm. You get stronger. You learn faster. You protect your peace. You love yourself harder. Because life doesn't promise to be easy. But it does promise to be worth it if you keep growing. Let me ask you this. Have you ever looked in the mirror and not liked what you saw? Not just your face, but the pain in your eyes? I have. There were times in my life I didn't recognize the man staring back at me. I was angry. I was tired. I was numb. But do you know what saved me? One decision. Not a perfect plan. Not someone fixing it for me. Just one choice. I said to myself, I'm not staying here. That was the beginning of change. Change doesn't always come with fireworks. Sometimes it whispers. Sometimes it crawls. But it comes. And when it does, don't rush it. Let it move through you. Let it carry away what no longer belongs. Because what's waiting on the other side of change is peace. The peace of knowing you didn't give up. The peace of knowing you fought for yourself. The peace of knowing you healed parts of you that were screaming for attention. You know what most people don't realize? Your pain is often your calling. What hurt you most can become the place where you help others the most. It's no accident that people with big hearts have often known big pain. They understand. They feel. They care deeper than most. So if you've been hurt and you still love, that's not weakness. That's superhuman. Let me tell you about a boy I once met. He was just 10 years old. His father walked out. His mother was battling depression. He raised himself. One day he said to me, "Why did my dad leave? Was I not good enough?" My heart broke. But I looked him in the eyes and said, "No, little man. Your father left because of his pain, not because of your worth." Sometimes people hurt us because they never learned how to heal themselves. But you get to break the cycle. You get to become the love you didn't receive. You get to be the parent, the friend, the partner you always needed. And in doing so, you rewrite the story. Pain may have written the first few chapters of your life, but you get to write the rest. You're the author now. So pick up the pen. Start fresh. Write with love. Write with courage. Write with hope. Because your story isn't over. In fact, it's just beginning. Let me ask you a serious question. What would your life look like if you stopped holding on to the pain? What if you forgave yourself? What if you stopped waiting for an apology that may never come? What if you finally said, "I am done carrying what is too heavy. I am done living in yesterday. I choose peace"? Do you know what would happen? You'd be free. And you deserve that freedom. There's something I want you to always remember. You are not weak for needing help. You are not broken for crying. You are not less than for feeling pain. You are human. And humans hurt. Humans fall. But humans also rise. And they rise even higher when they rise together. Ask for help if you need it. Let someone in. Let someone love you. You don't have to do this alone. You want to know what real healing feels like? It feels like breathing again. It feels like being able to sleep without waking up in fear. It feels like looking at old pictures and smiling instead of crying. It feels like trusting again. Loving again. Living again. Healing is possible. And it starts with one small decision. I choose to keep going. There was a time I thought I had to be strong all the time. I thought if I cried, I failed. If I showed weakness, I wasn't a leader. But then I learned something powerful. Real strength is not pretending. Real strength is being honest. Real strength is saying, "This hurts," and still showing up. Real strength is letting your heart break and still loving anyway. So don't hide your heart. Let it beat. Let it feel. Let it be seen. Your pain has a purpose. But it is not your prison. You can step out. You can walk away. You can rebuild. You're allowed to be happy again. You're allowed to laugh without guilt. You're allowed to enjoy life even if others are still hurting. That doesn't make you selfish. It makes you alive. To anyone who feels tired. To anyone who feels like giving up. To anyone who is silently fighting a war no one sees. This is your sign to keep going. You're not finished yet. Your best days haven't passed. They're still coming. One breath at a time. One step at a time. You're doing better than you think. And the world still needs your light. So here's what I want you to remember. Yes, you felt pain. Yes, life has knocked you down. Yes, you've cried yourself to sleep. But you are not just what happened to you. You are who you've chosen to become. And who you're becoming is powerful. You are rising. You are healing. You are glowing. Don't stop now. Let me tell you something important. You were not born to just survive. You were born to shine. You were not meant to live small, afraid, or hidden. You were meant to take up space. To speak your truth. To walk with boldness. Yes, pain came. Yes, darkness knocked. But you kept your light on. That matters. That is power. And maybe today you still feel heavy. Maybe you're still holding things that feel too big to carry. That's okay. Healing is not a straight line. Some days you'll feel strong. Other days you'll feel broken again. But the fact that you're still here means you're still winning. Keep breathing. Keep showing up. Keep choosing life. Because something beautiful is waiting for you. You know what I wish for you? I wish you peace. Real peace. The kind of peace that fills your chest and makes you smile for no reason. The kind of peace that lets you forgive yourself. The kind of peace that lets you sleep deep and wake up glad to be alive. You deserve that. Not because you were perfect. Not because you never messed up. You deserve peace because you kept trying. Because you never gave up. Because your heart is still open even after everything. That is love. That is grace. That is you. Let me remind you of this. You were never meant to stay in pain forever. You were meant to rise from it. Stronger. Kinder. Wiser. More free. So don't carry shame. Don't carry guilt. You are not your past. You are not your mistakes. You are not what they did to you. You are hope in human form. You are a new beginning. You are the sunrise after the longest night. I want you to picture something for a moment. Close your eyes. Imagine the younger version of you. Maybe they're 5. Maybe they're 10. Maybe they're scared. Maybe they're hurting. Now walk up to them. Kneel down. Look them in the eyes and say, I'm here now. You're safe. We made it. That's what healing is. It's letting that younger part of you know. They are not alone anymore. You've got them. You're protecting them now. And from now on, you walk differently. Not as a victim. Not as someone begging for love. But as someone who knows they are worthy. You walk like someone who knows their pain didn't break them. It built them. You carry your story like a badge, not a burden. And when someone else says, I'm hurting, you don't judge them. You say, me too. Let's rise together. That's how you change the world. One healed person at a time. So here's the final truth I'll leave you with. Your story matters. Your pain has meaning. Your tears were never wasted. Every moment you thought you were breaking, you were actually becoming. And now, look at you. Stronger. Wiser. Full of fire and heart. So don't stop now. The world needs you. You need you. And the future you've been dreaming of. It's waiting for you to walk into it. You are not alone. You never were. And you never will be. You were loved even when you couldn't feel it. You were seen even when you felt invisible. You were carried even when you thought no one cared. Now it's your turn to carry someone else. It's your turn to live. To love. To laugh. To rise. So go. Live loud. Love deep. Heal fully. Shine always. Your story is not over. It's just getting started.
Please like and subscribe for more videos.